this computer. Welcome to today's training. I know the title is not necessarily all sexy and everything, all that kind of good stuff, how to turn leads into patients, because most of you don't want anything to do with leads. You just want to jump forward to the good stuff, to the getting the patients. And I totally understand that. But today we're going to hopefully alleviate the anxiety and the stress around what lead generation is. Okay. We don't want to spend a ton of time. We did that last week. We walked through the whole thing. And we're just going to, cut to the good stuff and show you guys what the top clinics are doing in terms of getting patients for conditions like knee, neuropathy, back, neck pain, so decompression, joint pain, weight loss, thyroid, and Patient Stream has over 22 different niches. So we're going to jump into, what it takes to really blow up a practice with all of those things. So a quick recap today is where we're going to start. We're going to talk about how to fill your practice with new patients. That's the recap from last week. If you didn't see last week, I'll make sure that we provide the link below in the description. So you have a link to that and you can watch that. And then we're going to go over the 3 golden rules. And then as always, the proof is in the pudding. I can tell you a whole bunch of stuff, or I can just show you. I feel like that's a lot easier. Audience participation is the best thing. Please. I thank everybody that has come. We've got folks who have shown up here live, and I'm sure we're going to have even more. We always have a couple more trickle in. I don't look at the Q&A. I do look at the chat. So if I get a chance here, in fact, let me go ahead and pull up the chat just to make sure that I can get that in front of me. Oh, come on. All right. If you've got questions, comments, anything, put that in the chat. The Q&A, again, I don't look at that. I should remove that. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. My name is Sam Carlson. We'll do just a quick introduction. I've been an entrepreneur only, really. I've never really had a job. Hopefully that relates to a lot of you, many of you who own your own practice, and you know how hard it can be to run a business, let alone, in your case, be a doctor. I've been doing new patient marketing for 7+ years. Got a lot of, credibility, experience in what is everything that is Facebook, Instagram, and other platforms. I used to have a podcast called the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. I wrote this funny book called New Patient School, the how-to guide for converting more leads into patients. You can get a copy of it on Amazon. So it's a good book. It's very particular. It's not about much other than what we're going to talk about today. And then my agency is the only agency with a published case study for a chiropractic clinic. Okay. So we're going to walk through some of the things that we learned as a result of that happening. And then co-founder, of course, of Patient Stream. And Patient Stream is a company. This training today that you're watching, if you're watching a replay or you're here live, I do these trainings for our Patient Stream users, but I want them to be open access for anybody who's trying to get these results. So if you're watching this and you don't know anything about Patient Stream automatically finds pre-qualified patients in just 3 clicks. Okay. That means new patients in just 3 clicks, no agency required. So let's jump really quick into the recap. Again, not going to spend a lot of time here, but want to make sure that we have a proper frame on today's training. Want to make sure that we're going through a proper frame before we get in today's training, rather. So last week we talked about, what are the things that actually, the leverage points, the hinges, the small hinges that make the big outcomes for clinics if they're trying to get, I don't care if it's knee, decompression, neuropathy, weight loss, whatever type of patient you're trying to get in the practice. What are the big things that really make all of these things work? Because it's not just about getting leads. I hear people say things like, my leads were poor quality, this, that, and the other. Well, there's reasons why that happens. Okay. And last week we went over a lot of those reasons. We really boiled it down. So I'm going to do a quick recap. All right. If you want to fill your practice with a whole bunch of new patients, these are the 3 things that you must have. Number 1, you must start off with the proper perspective. Okay. We told the story about Captain John Raid and about how, he was the best fisherman of all the fishermen. And they said, well, what's the problem with most fishermen? He goes, when most fishermen go out to fish, they think like fishermen. When I go out to fish, I think like a fish. Okay. So when you start your marketing, if you want your marketing to actually deliver results, you got to start out by seeing your services from their point of view. Okay. So you got to think like a fish. That's number one. Your marketing has to start there. Number two, a sales strategy. So many people come to me and say, oh man, I want to sell a $4,000 weight loss program. I want to sell stem cell, stem cell therapy. I want to sell, all of these high ticket care plans. And it's like, well, that's not, you're not going to get there unless you have a proper front end monkey fist. Okay. So what is the thing that's going to sell your big thing? What's the small sell that makes the big sell effortless? Okay. That is the secret of the monkey fist, the sales strategy. Number two is conviction and belief. Now, I told a story about Dr. Ray Peavy, and it's a story that I share on a webinar. It's a story I share a lot. And if you've been to any of my other trainings, I'm guessing some of you are like, well, why does he tell this one story so much? Is that the only results they get? No. The reason I like that story so much is because it demonstrates clearly, it's an objective case study of nothing changed with our advertising. The only thing that changed was installing conviction and belief into the follow-up process, and boom, like a light switch, it turned on. Okay. So it's the realization and understanding that every conversation that happens between you and a prospect, in this case, a potential new patient for your high ticket cases, neuropathy, knee pain, whatever it is, when they're talking to people when they're talking to you or people who represent you, your front desk, things like that, you can follow a script. You can say the words, but every conversation has two dialogues happening at any given point in time. The words that you say are a small fraction of that dialogue, but the meaning, the certainty, and the belief behind those words is really what drives conversions. Okay. Because conversions at the end of the day is the transfer of belief from one person to another. All right. Your prospects, the people who are choosing to work with you as a service provider to help them solve their problems, you are not the only person approaching them on a day-to-day basis. But when you do it like this, you're the only person who is showing how much you care and who is helping them believe that there's an alternate future that's probable, that they can rely on. Okay. These are the big pillars that will make your marketing actually work. If you don't have the proper perspective, you're going to get terrible quality leads. Okay. You're going to create offers and ads that will bring in unqualified prospects. If you don't use a monkey fist, you're not going to get very many of them, or you'll have campaigns that work in some months, some places, some locations, but they don't work in others. You have to have that. If you don't have conviction and belief, you're buying leads for nothing. Okay. Because these people, when they see your ads, they have a belief, an assumption about you. And you have to take that assumption from where they're at right there and turn that into a belief that something other than their current condition is possible. All right. This is not woo-woo. This is the actual stuff. This is the, everything that's below the surface of the iceberg that makes it float. All right. Let's jump into it. First of all, we've got a lot of you here. So thank you for showing up. Who's excited to jump into this particular question? What is the difference between a pathetic practice and a wildly profitable practice? And I shouldn't have said pathetic. The only reason I said that was because it kind of, rolled off the tongue. What's the difference? Why do some clinics seem to, make money every single time they roll in and try a new service, whatever it is? What is the difference? Well, I want you to meet Dr. X. This is a real doctor, inpatient shrink. And I'm not divulging his name because he does not want his name divulged. But Dr. X gets a consistent flow of qualified leads. That's number one. And then he's able to predictably convert a percentage of those leads into patients, roughly 20 to 25%. Okay. And then he's able to convert those leads into what a lot of people consider high ticket care plans. You're talking in terms of $4,500 and above. Okay. And he gets all of these results and he makes $300,000 a month offering one service. That's pretty incredible. And all of this because he understands one principle. One principle. Okay. Now here's my question to you. Would you like to know what that one principle is? Are you ready to know what that one principle is? Okay. Grab the chat. If you're watching this on replay, the reason I ask for a lot of engagement is because it makes all the difference in the world. It helps me make these presentations more engaging, more useful. All right. So blow my mind. I will do so. Okay. Okay. Yes. And we'll make sure you get the last week. All right. Let's rock and roll. Here's the principle. There are two types of money in your business. There is what's called front end money and back end money. Let's go through each. So front end money first. What is front end money? Front end money is very simple. It's basically the money that you're making on your first visit. Okay. You're making your exam fees, anything you do diagnostically, treatment, whether you're taking insurance or cash, whatever it is. These are the fees that you're making on that first visit. Okay. Now, there's a lot of ideas, fixed ideas in terms of this front end money, in terms of how you should treat it, in terms of what, oh geez, how do I say this? Like the frame, your like whether or not you come off as professional or cheap, right? I hear people say a lot of things like, we don't discount any of these fees, or we don't discount initial treatment up front. We don't do that. Okay. So that's your front end money. Your back end money are your care plans, is long-term retention, meaning people not just showing up for a visit or two, but showing up and staying for a long time. Number 3, cross sells. I can't tell you how many times when I was actually in clinic, helping clinics do this, how many times somebody would be in care for 4 or 5 weeks. And then during a re-exam, they'd have to get, it would say, well, I think you're a candidate for XYZ, whatever it was. And now we have more sales that happen from that one person. And then the lifetime value of our customer, of our patient, is getting bigger and bigger. There's this front end money and back end money. So what type of money does your practice make most of? Do you make most of your money on the front end, or do you make most of your money on the back end? Okay. It's a very important question. And then if you make, everybody's going to make money on each. Okay. A percentage of each, but how heavily weighted is it? Well, one of the things and the principle that everybody needs to understand is that what you're doing with your front end money is a strategy to open up your back end money. Let's take a look at what that looks like over time. Okay. This is what's called the value ladder. And the idea of the value ladder, and we'll apply it to a couple of rules here in just a minute, so you can really apply this, but it's very simple. As you add value, the price increases. Okay. The one thing that's not taken into consideration here is time. Okay. The amount of time that somebody is with you, but you can see this as a ladder, meaning you start at the bait position. This is finding your prospects. Then you start at your front end money, and you can see there's $1 sign there. And then you go middle, back end. And then as you send or as you add more value, you make more money. Okay. And if you want to see an example of this, nobody did it better than this guy right here. All right. Sam Walton, when he first started growing Walmart, he knew he needed something to hook people in. He knew he had to have a way to get people into his stores. And so he said, well, what could I do? So he said, I'm going to put a soft serve ice cream in front of my store, and that'll bring people to the door. And then when they're there, they'll shop with me. So my front end money, I'm going to go negative. I'm going to go backwards by giving away soft serve ice cream. But I'm going to go way forward because everybody, when they shop, they know they're going to come here. So their kid can get an ice cream cone and then they'll shop at my store. And it's funny if you Google search this. So I'll go ahead and read. So what Sam Walton did was discover that soft serve ice cream was going to help attract a lot more customers to his store. So he immediately secured a bank loan. He took out risk. By the way, he personally guaranteed these loans for $1,800 and set up the ice cream machine out in the front of his store. It was an unprecedented at the time, and the machine led to a significant growth in his store. Here is the point. If you focus so much on that front end money, you will always be poor. Okay. When you run a business with a front end money strategy, you will always be poor. Okay. When you run your money with a back end money strategy, meaning you're willing to sacrifice that front end money to get the back end money, you will make more money and unlock more potential growth than you ever thought possible. Now, some of you are watching here and you're like, okay, well, that sounds like a great thing to say. Easy for you. Well, let's jump into it. Okay. I have 3 golden rules. Okay. I'm not asking you to be foolish. I'm not asking you to do anything that we haven't proven to work or haven't seen or that we can't, objectively demonstrate that works. So these are the 3 golden rules of acquiring patients and making massive amounts of money using advertising. Number 1, you always start, your start determines the finish. Okay. Success in your marketing, acquiring patients always starts with a very specific who. That links back to last week's training. Again, that will be linked below. If you want the end result to be a qualified new patient, you cannot expect to do that with general broad marketing. You also can't hold back and say, well, I'm going to do what all these other doctors tell me to do. You got to think like a fish. If you're talking to a neuropathy, a person suffering with neuropathy, you have to talk to just that one specific person. You can't say, well, we have a laser and laser can help people with knee pain, with shoulder pain. So we're going to put everything on this ad. And I'm sure we'll just get a whole bunch of people. Cannot do that. It will not work. Okay. So number 1 is you have to start with a very specific who. Number 1. Number 2, set up your move. Okay. If you're playing chess, understand you're not playing checkers. You're not just, there's no strategy. You're playing chess. You know that you're sacrificing one piece so you can get the bigger piece. Okay. Be willing to give up your front end money. Okay. Those are ingredients. So when it's time to share your end solution, your big thing, okay, you've built up enough trust, credibility, and goodwill to make that sale without having to sell. Okay. What's the thing that's going to sell the big thing? All right. Number 3, show these, get those. There are 2 things that will drive your conversions more than anything else. Number 1, results. Okay. That's proof. Number 2 is belief and conviction. Okay. If you show these 2 elements throughout every part of your day 1, day 2, your marketing, everything, you will get more patients. Okay. If people see that you get outcomes, incredible outcomes, that's proof, that's belief. If people hear in your tone of voice, in your conviction, in the people, in the conviction of the people who work with you, that is belief. That will convert patients. All right. Let's go back and let's apply these 3 golden rules to the value ladder. Number 1, we have to start out with the right bait. Okay. Now, I put in here, who is the correct who? That's in big letters. We're going to go loop back to that rule. We can't talk to everybody. The more granular, in fact, if we wanted to get really crazy, and when we were talking to, for example, people who suffer with knee pain, we might even go as far as say, grandparents struggling with knee pain. We might even get more granular. I mean, knee pain is granular enough in most cases, we found, but the whole idea is making the who so granular that the bait becomes obvious. Okay. Because most of the time I find that the struggle that people have in their marketing is that they don't know what kind of bait to give, because in their own brains, they don't know what people want. And they don't know what people want because they're thinking about too many people, right? It becomes a lot easier if you speak to one person. We have, and we'll jump into that here in just a second. Okay. So that's number 1. Okay. Number 2, be willing to give up, to give on that front end money. Okay. Because if you're willing to play the long game, you will make so much more money. Your case values, you'll close more care plans, you'll make way more money per patient, and everything will work better. Okay. And through that process, make sure that you're removing doubt, showing your results, adding proof, and then increasing their belief, and you will make more money. Okay. Now, so far we've got rules. Some of these things are abstract. Maybe these ideas are starting to like really tickle your brain. You're thinking, okay, well, that's cool. I like where you're heading with this, but I want to see this. Like, what are you talking about? All right. So here's what I want to do. Okay. In today's training, we're 23 minutes in right now, and we're going to go through, and I think by you guys seeing a collection of our ads, it will be helpful to give you a visual representation, and then we can talk through a couple of them. So what I need you guys to do, if you're here, thanks for coming. What I need you to do is grab the chat and tell me the conditions that you need more of in your practice. Okay. So while you're doing that, so grab the chat below, I'll pull up patient stream. We'll go into our collection of ads, and I will show you this exact application, how we can use this process, use these qualified offers to get people in. And then we can talk about how they fit directly into today. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and change this up. All right. All right. Can you guys all see my screen here where it's okay, you can see it. Okay. So and you guys, you're sending them to me. That's fine. So I have migraines and neuropathy so far, knee pain, low back pain and disc stuff. Okay. Anything else? We'll go ahead and I'll jump into the first couple. I'm looking at the chat here. So let me know what you want to see. Okay. So let's go, let's go into, let's see here. Sorry. Chiropractic clinics. Okay. So patient stream is set up with categories, then subcategories, and then the ads in each. All right. We're looking at neuropathy. So I'm going to go down to where it says neuropathy, and we'll walk through a couple of these and to show you each one of those steps, what we're doing. Let's see here. I like this one. This is one of my favorite ones. And we'll go through these two. Okay. So offer for those suffering from burning, numbness or pins and needles. we're starting out with a very specific who. Okay. So the number one thing between the image and between the hook at the top is, hey, if you have these symptoms, stop, read this. Okay. People who have knee pain or any other type of pain aren't necessarily going to stop and read this. Okay. Now, in terms of the rest of it, what are we giving up? What is the thing that we need to be willing to give? Okay. What's the bait that we give away on the front of this and why? All right. So if you look through this, we're giving away a nerve diagnostic scan and doctor consultation for $49. Okay. So basically you're giving away a thermography scan and then a report on what you found. Now you would think this doesn't seem like some of your other offers, Sam. Why does this one work? Well, I have two, my offers fall into two categories. One I call a test drive offer, and then one I call a self-discovery offer. Okay. This is a self-discovery offer, meaning people who have these symptoms, these conditions, they don't always know to what extent their problem has deteriorated. That, like, they don't know the level of their dysfunction. All right. So when they see a normal on this ad, when they see a normal foot looking like that, they're wondering, I wonder what my foot looks like, or my hands, whatever. Right. And so by offering this scan, this thermography scan, we tap into that self-discovery mechanism that we all have. We all are very curious about, I wonder, I'm experiencing these symptoms. I wonder if I have whatever, we're all hypochondriacs too. Okay. So there's that one. Here's another one, neuropathy. And by the way, these price points are in here because pricing is not a black and white variable that you can use to filter out people. Like, you can't say, okay, well, $49 is good, then let's do $97 and we'll only get the really, no, you cannot do that. There comes a point in time to where people are like, now you're just being greedy, or now I'm not interested because I'm not even getting, I won't read enough about your offer, your ad, because your starting price point is just so out of the market. But we also don't want it so low. Like, I can't do this for $20. If I do a thermography scan for $20, now maybe I start to devalue it some. So it's a very interesting dynamic that we have to play around with. All right. So here's another one for neuropathy. You'll notice this one includes one treatment. Now, the reason it's one treatment, by the way, is because we have so many clinics that do so many different things. So if we're doing an evaluation, an initial treatment, and potential, diagnostic work, then that could be a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, it could be, well, first of all, the treatment could be vibration, could be laser, could be shockwave. There's so many things you can do for that particular condition. Pick the one that you get the best results with and that people have a really good experience with on their first visit. Give that in, like, put that into this treatment and make sure that they have a great experience. That's all part of adding value, making sure that your ad dollars really produce results here. Go ahead, and you guys, what other campaigns would you like to see? I got a knee one here. We did knee last week, but we can do it again. No problem. We're going to go back into chiropractic stuff. Now, the knee stuff we have kind of dispersed through a couple of different categories here. Okay. Number one is decompression. So knee decompression, this one right here, this one just works. It just works. It's worked for 3 years, maybe more, and it just works. But basically the bait is, first of all, if you have knee pain, try knee decompression therapy. All right. Why do we offer 2 treatments on this one? Number one, most of these care plans are pretty significant. You're talking 5, 6, 7, 8, sometimes even more than that, $1,000. So if you're going to sell a $6,500 care plan, if that's the back end money you're looking to get, we need to make that front end look a little bit more like leaned a little bit more in favor of our qualified prospects. If people are unqualified, we can kind of deter them in other ways from coming into the clinic, but whatever. We want those people who are, we want those people who are candidates to feel like we're really giving them an opportunity to become educated and to try our approach. And during that whole process, we can educate, demonstrate, prove, show our results. This is a powerful offer. We see so many people have incredible results by using this framework. Okay. And some people, I get so many people that look at an offer thinking, well, I'm giving up 2 sessions for $47. I charge $55 for 1 session, let alone the evaluation and the consultation. That's not the right way to think about this. Okay. The right way to think about this is how many qualified people can I get through my day 1 and day 2? And if those 2 visits hooks them to day 1 and day 2, how many people can I convert into care? If you can get more, I don't know why you wouldn't want to. Okay. All right. Let's do one more for knee. We have, let's see here. We're going to go chiropractic clinics. We have knee stuff in laser. We have knee stuff in pulse wave, shockwave. I will say we've got soft wave campaigns that are absolutely crushing it. And basically, this is what the ad copy looks like. It's offering, let's see here. We've set aside 20 vouchers so new patients can receive the first soft wave therapy treatment for just $49. Okay, and then offers them an evaluation and consultation. This thing, it blows me away. This thing converts like crazy. So soft wave, stem wave would be very similar to this. Some of the other shock wave companies, they don't have, they get great results. I'm not an expert in shockwave therapy. I just know that some of the creative elements, meaning patient treatment and patient reaction videos, there's just not much out there. So if you have a shockwave device and you have videos of patients getting treatment and then immediately after their treatment showing these crazy responses, send them over to me. We'll update some of our other shockwave campaigns and see if we can get them on this level. The shockwave campaigns have always done well. These soft wave campaigns are blowing the doors off. It just blows my mind. So there's that. All right, what else we got? Spinal decompression, just general spine. So I will show you. So low back pain, disc stuff, all that. That's going to be, we've got a bunch of those. These are your top 2 right here. All right, this video one is very good. And it's the same thing as the knee decompression. It's 2 treatments for the exact same structure. What else? Weight loss. All right. Weight loss. So weight loss is actually down here. Now, what's interesting about weight loss is, now when you see some of these images, by the way, those are not the ads. Those are what the lead forms, the top of the lead form, that's what that looks like. Because we change the images and the ads frequently, it would be a headache to update those in here. Okay, but you're getting the offer, the structure of the offer, how it works. So weight loss, let's get back to weight loss. Weight loss, by the way, weight loss is tricky. Okay, you cannot tell Facebook or really any social media platform that you get results as far as weight loss. You can't say lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks. That'll get you banned. You can't show before and after stuff. That'll get you banned. Okay. And so what we end up finding and what we end up doing is identifying the best monkey fist offers. That was from last week. If you haven't seen that, you'll want to see it. We identify the best monkey fist offers that gets the exact person that we want in. So here is, if it has an R, by the way, it means recommended. These other campaigns are fine, but the ones that have R are heavily used in patient stream, and so they're very good. So weight loss injections, I think we've got another one. This one here is effectively the same thing. That's why it has an R there. If you're able to do injections in the clinic, I tell you what, these leads just fly off the shelf. It's crazy. Okay. If you can't, contour light, red light, you know, giving up a session in, excuse me, giving up a session. And we make these specifically for women and men. The women ones tend to work a bit better. But yeah, I mean, a contour light session is awesome for those. Again, these are the lead forms. Okay. All right. So I think you guys are getting the idea. Many of you are going to be focusing in on the ones that we're looking at here. See if there's anything else that, you know, might be interesting here. I mean, the chiropractic adjustment stuff, you got some stuff specific to TMJ. Prenatal, this is good because if you help on, you know, pregnant moms and stuff like that. There you go. All right. So hopefully before we exit out of this, are there any other conditions, anything else you would like to see before we jump out of this? I don't want to, if you have something, I did all the ones that were sent to me in the chat. If there was anything else that you wanted to see, let me know. I don't look at the Q&A. Okay. Good to go? Good to go? Yes, good to go? All right, good to go. Okay, so let's go ahead and, whoop. It was up there for a minute, wasn't it? There we go. All right. So if you're still thinking you're having a hard time connecting the dots once people get into your clinic. So the purpose of today's training was basically to unlock the idea and the concept. How are these clinics making so much money? It's because they don't care about this front end money at all. They know it's a strategic move every single time. Somebody back in the day told a group of doctors that they shouldn't give away initial treatments or anything like that. They shouldn't discount those things because they were devaluing their service. And that person did more to ruin practices financially than anybody else. Okay. There are clinics that have such a local brand and local loyalty. I mean, we've had clinics that, you know, it just works differently in their practice, but the bulk of clinics are normal businesses that get in there. They do a good job, but they're competing in a marketplace. Okay. And if that's you got to be like every other business. I mean, Sam Walton didn't just go out there and say, well, I'm just going to build the best store ever. No, he built a great store, but he made sure that he had this thing in front. He had a strategic plan so more people would get in there. So then he had the money to do all the stuff that you see today. He couldn't have done it without a stinking ice cream machine, if you can believe that. Okay. So I know that was today's purpose. But if you're thinking, how do I use these offers to convert more patients into care? Meaning, I understand what you're talking about, Sam, today. I'm willing to follow the strategy. That sounds good. Talk to me about what happens once they're in the clinic. Okay. That is a different topic in and of itself. It's a big thing for us to cover in a single meeting. Today, we're 40 minutes into this, and we've covered, I think, a lot of ground in showing you what is actually going to work. But for me to give you an A through Z process of what these folks do in their practice, that's going to be in part 2. Okay. And I definitely want everybody to, when they leave a training like this, I want them to think, boom, light bulb. I got something. I figured out a missing piece. And now we know what to do. Now we can go and make a plan because we understand a fundamental deficiency that we have, but we no longer have. Okay. So hopefully you can all understand, if I were to go through that process and show you how to convert those patients into cases, that is a huge thing. There's entire coaching groups that's all they do. Okay. And many of you are part of those coaching groups, and some of them do an incredible job. And then some of you just can't quite, grasp it. And so my hope is that as you see the fundamental pieces, not the stuff on the top, not the tactics, okay, not the scripts, not that stuff. I'm hoping that as you see the fundamental pieces that make all of this work, you can say, this is how I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to, take these qualified people and turn them into patients, because I know I just got to get them in with the right bait. I know when they come in, I got to just help them, show them our results, and get them some kind of result so they'll buy my big result. Make sense? All right. We got plenty of people left on the training. I'm going to go ahead and open up the Q&A. And by the way, I used to do it to where, okay, stop show. I used to do it to where we didn't do replays of this, but what I decided to do was offer the replay, but I'm just going to go ahead and pause the recording. That way you guys can ask whatever question you want, free of, I guess, embarrassment or something. So go ahead and pause. Okay, so thanks for the Q&A, everybody. Good questions. Hopefully you all got a ton of value out of this. As far as next steps, there will be a follow-up training to go through how to convert, the A to Z process of converting leads into patients in the clinic. Like what happens there. That won't be next week because we got the 4th of July happening next week. And we got a lot of crazy stuff. Likely it won't even be the week after that. It will be the following week. And I'm going to have a special guest on for that particular training. I can walk you through it, or we can have a clinic that's actually doing this. They can walk you through how they do it. And I think that's a better approach. So, if you got the invite for this, you'll absolutely get the invite for that. Put that on your calendar, likely to be on, tentatively July 13th. That's the tentative date for the next training for this. Okay. So I hope this was great for everyone. I hope that you now have a better idea of how to, and honestly, why we offer what we offer in our ads, like why we all do that. Okay. If that question is now clear in your mind, that means those prospects will flow freely into your practice. So thanks for coming, everybody. We'll see you in the next one. Appreciate you. Bye, guys.